Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Wanted to do a quick check-in on the final project. Final grades will be posted by next week, Tuesday. So I think the deadline for this is a little shorter than normal. Man, I am not worried about it because we have a very strong cohort of students in this class. Everybody came to play this term. And the way I like to write my classes is we do a lot of work on the front end. This is like all this really strong, busy work. You set the bones, you get the foundation laid, you start to feel really confident about the why behind the work, and then you execute it. And then by the time we get to week 8, it's like, okay, I'm just curating here. I'm just taking, I'm going to tweak, I'm going to fine tune, I'm going to calibrate. If anybody's been in a pitch, if anybody's been in, had the opportunity to be like, we're now going to show it to the client, by the time you get to that presentation, if you've done your job, the day before isn't stressful because we've done the work. Like we've had the all-nighters 2 weeks ago. And now when we're ready to present, we feel really good about what we did. And so this final project, my hope is that, I don't know how many of you are taking other classes or you have other jobs, but like here at the end of this class, into this term, you're breathing, you're saying, okay, I can think about what I did this term. I'll take the good stuff, I'll throw away the bad stuff, and when I present this final project, I have a narrative. Anybody asks me what I did in this class, man, 6 slides. I think it's 6 slides that we have to do, right? At minimum, you have 6 slides breakdown of what you did in this course. You slide it across the table to the boss, the fellow classmate, the daughter, the uncle, whatever, whoever you're talking to. This is what I did, and this is why it was valuable. That's how I like to end the classes, and I found most of my students appreciate that. So hopefully you're experiencing that here in the final term. If you are spinning a little bit and you're like, oh crap, I'm not sure, my visual identity is as strong as I wanted it to be, or I don't like everything that I see here, or you have a question, obviously reach out to me. Anybody who's had a question has done a good job of asking, and I think we've had good rapport on the students that have had questions. So I'm not worried about that. I think they would have come by now if there was a bunch of questions about the final project. So I think my hope is when you look at the final portfolio, it's not so much about is the creative the best it could be? Because the answer is no, because that wasn't the focus of this class. The reflection is what tools did I use? What process was I engaged with? And how does that relate to the future of marketing? And the light should go on and go, yes, I am using cutting edge, forward thinking tools that will be required in my job in the future. Absolutely. And not only that, but given this time in history that these things are all so new, I can go into a conversation with anybody and at least have a point of view and a strong opinion about creative process and the human in the loop. How did you do it? What did you do? What was the outcome? Yeah, I didn't like it. I thought it sucked. I would never use I would never use Nano Banana. I would always use a photographer until it gets better. And this is why, because I spent the last 8 weeks working on it. So my hope is you're all leaving, and I saw a little bit of that in the feedback in last week, is leaving feeling a little more confident and a little more muscular on the future of marketing and the tools that we have in front of us. And it's, it's tools, it's infrastructure. AI is far more than a tool. It's a sea change. And so I think you all understand that, and all of us, and don't let anybody tell you they know what they're doing, because nobody knows what they're doing right now. I don't even think the big LLMs know, really. They keep releasing things, and it's like, oh crap, we can do that? I'm talking about OpenClaw and things like that. So it's an exciting time to be in marketing. And I would encourage, as you do your final project, and I hope you're breathing and you have time to reflect, that you feel like you can lead now. You have this program is teaching you integrated marketing, and it's a very good program in that regard. But my hope is this class is kind of like the sharp point of the spear, because when you go into a job interview, they're going to ask you, what do you think about AI? No question about it. And now my hope is with this class, you can say, this is what I think, and this is why I think it. I did this project, I worked for Sears, I did something I built a campaign for this, and this is what I did, blah, blah, blah. So when I, at this point in time, you guys have a pretty good idea of my process about grading. Frankly, I don't like giving grades. I don't see, I've never been big on A's, B's, C's, D's. Like, it's either pass or fail in my book. So I spend most of my time just not so much saying, oh, well, is it a B or an A type of work as I do make sure the feedback is really useful. And so I spend a lot of time looking at your work and then making sure you have valuable feedback on your work. For week 8, for this final project, all of you have a ton of feedback from me on your ideas, on your process, on what we did this term. So I'm not going to wax the elephant too much in your final feedback, and nobody needs to worry about their grade. The only reason you would need to worry about your grade is if you have like a 0 in the grade book right now and I'm waiting on something. And even then, you'll be okay as long as we're talking. So the grading for the final project is going to be probably more about what I see, not probably, I'm going to focus about what I see in you as a student, your strengths and weaknesses as we work together over the last 8 weeks for what it's worth. And then I will have some observations about your final presentation in general. I may have a couple of suggestions, but no one needs to be sweating about the final project. Please, please, please spell check. Spelling errors than I thought in this work. And so here's the trick. I'm fabulously dyslexic. I can barely talk. I'm fabulously dyslexic. I don't see spelling errors when I read. It completely gaps. So I'm running it through, I have Grammarly. I'm running it through their AI checker, like their spelling checker. That was around before AI. And that's what it's doing for me. It's just telling me, hey, you've got some misspelled words, there's some grammatical problems. As a student, and when you move into your capstone, or if you're just starting the program, always just drop the PDF into the AI and say, please spell check this. Please look for all errors. And it will tell you, and you won't have to worry about it. So double check your work on that. I think if I find spelling errors, that will be one thing for the final project, and this is probably the best heads up in terms of you are worried about grades. I will be doing that for your final project, and if I find a spelling error in your final project, I'll take you from a 20 to a 19 or an 18 to a 17. You'll lose a point. Why? Because you need to learn to check your stuff, because when you go in front of a client and you misspell the word and no one catches it, it's on you, right? At the end of the day, you own the deck. So that'll be the only kind of like serious watch out, run, state the obvious. Make sure you check your work. Okay, I will have one more video for y'all, one more quick lecture on the future, like what I'm seeing happening in AI. It's really interesting where we started in January and where we are now. A massive shift in AI production and infrastructure has happened. The Clawbot and what Gemini OpenClaw is doing, what we're seeing with agentic, how we're seeing businesses respond to that, how we're seeing marketing teams respond to that is really interesting. And it reinforces what we learned in this class, which was we need a human in the loop. How many humans we need in the loop? Not sure. What kind of new roles are going to come? A lot. And one of them will be an AI manager. We'll call them AIMS, AI managers. That person needs to have taste and judgment. It needs to be a subject matter expert at the content, and it needs to be capable of running AI and looking at the agentic outputs to ensure the work got done right, and then calibrate it and work with it. So you'll have not only, so where it's going with marketing is you'll have a team of humans who will be running an agent, and that agent will be running a team of agents. So the business challenge that people are running into is, okay, not only do I have to ensure my human team understands the AI process, but that human team, the human team has to manage AI teams, right? Human teams to AI teams back, and it loops around. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. If you can establish yourself as someone who can run AI systems, like you're comfortable with the tools, you'll always have a job, especially right now. I have a buddy who is I'll end with this. I have a buddy who's a vice president maybe a senior vice president at Edelman, huge agency. I think Omnicom might own them. He's a PR expert. His job is to just make sure the people in the company are doing okay. He walks around and just checks in on them and gets the efficiencies out of them. And his job's at risk, quite honest with you. He posted something the other day and he said, listen, the people we are hiring, especially the young ones, are able to not only show up with really solid skills, but they know how to compound those skills with strategic tools That doesn't necessarily mean all AI. It could mean you're really good at social media tools like what's that called? CapCut and TikTok. Like you're really strong in certain like creation outcomes. You can write, you can edit, you can create, you have some graphic design chops. You bring a subject matter expertise to the table, and you know how to leverage a wide range of tools, including AI, to exponentially create more value for the company. So this I said I was going to end it, but I'm going to end it on a positive. I'm going to end it on one more positive observation. Sorry. There's this fear that the AI apocalypse is coming, and all of us are going to lose our jobs. But what we're seeing in the narrative that the media isn't really talking about, but this is a very true thing, is if I'm a business and I understand that if my employee shows up and is able to use AI, which makes them 3 times more productive, which is kind of where the numbers are landing. AI will make your team 3 to 5 times more productive. A lot of busy work goes away. Now you're thinking about strong stuff. You're able to exponentially improve the quality of your work. You're not going to fire the human. You're going to hire more humans, because now you don't have one person doing 3 times more work. You have 6 people doing 3 times more work. And imagine the competitive advantage if you can build teams that can go from 1x to 6x to 24x to 84x super fast. That's the future. So we really don't need to worry about are the ones who are saying, I'm not touching this. I'm not touching this. I don't believe in it. I don't think it's going to stay. You'll have a job. You just probably won't have a job in marketing. You probably won't have a job in business. You might be a cog in a wheel somewhere. Like I'm not saying that to be negative. I'm not saying that to be derogatory. People have convictions. I respect that. You'll find a different niche, but your traditional businesses who are driven by making money, that's the narrative, and they're going to hire more humans, not less. And if you're a human who gets it and can use the tools, you're going to be really successful. Okay, that's what I got. I will be following up again soon. Thank you all for your hard work and strong. I hope you have a chance to breathe this week. Cheers.